Hey guys, what's going on? Earth Twister here, and we're coming back at you again with another Magneto versus En Sabah Nur deck. And we're working with Magneto in protection. So some of the key aspect cards that I decided to work with here really are the Energy Barrier, Force Field Generator, and the Repurpose right here. And that's because Magneto already has a lot of readies in his kit. So being able to ready again and again and again all after the Repurpose is going to be a really, really big thing for us. So as long as we can get these cards and they don't get discarded with Magneto's magnetic pool, we should be really good with these. But I also decided to include Hard to Ignore and Desperate Defense because Magneto can defend for a lot all at once. It makes it really good to be able to help mitigate threat. And with Desperate Defense, we can go ahead and be ready again in the player phase after we've defended and taken no damage. So things are going to be really, really good here. As long as we can get set up and get the right cards at the right time, things are going to go so well for us. Now, there are a few things that could go wrong, like we could just not get the cards that we need. But honestly, Magneto is pretty much a powerhouse that's not really going to be a big problem. So let's go ahead and get shuffled up, and then we'll finish the setup here with with En Sabah Nur's um, scenario. All right, so just a little bit more on the shuffle here. And again, after this, we do have one more battle of Magneto against En Sabah Nur because we are doing an analysis on Magneto after all is said and done and see how he performs in each aspect and maybe compares to other characters. He really is, I guess, technically the second character I've analyzed, though I kind of want to redo my Jubilee analysis. I think that there's going to be some extra things that we could work on with her. Some things that were pointed out to me that could make her even stronger than I thought she was. So we'll just have to check that out. We'll probably replay her in a more thematic way and just see what's going on. But right now, we're going to have, I guess Magneto's going to be sort of the baseline of heroes and see where they fall in and around him. All right, so the setup here is that we get an encounter card. Then we can go ahead and flip this over. This comes in with 1 threat, and Ancient Ritual comes in with 5. Okay, everything is set up because Apocalypse has 20 health, Magneto has 10. Let's go ahead and draw our hand size. Perfect. We get Genius, a Wrapped in Metal, a Magnetic Missile, an Unflappable, a Digging Deep, and a Death Focus. So right now, there's only 3 cards that I'd really want to play from this. And by 3 cards, I mean 2 because it's just Death Focus and Unflappable. So I'm going to go ahead and remove Wrapped in Metal and Magnetic Missile. We'll discard those and we'll grab an X Gene, not bad, and Magneto's Armor, which is phenomenal. All right. So with that, how would we play this out? I think I have an idea. Okay, so first off, let's make sure we've got everything here. Go ahead and get these taken out and get our ready token. So we'll flip up. Oh, before we do that, before we flip up, I'm going to use a Digging Deep to pay for X Gene. I'll put X Gene over here for now. Won't matter too much, but then we'll flip up and you will use a Genius to pay for Magneto's Armor. Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and do the Magnetic Pool. So we got Avengers Mansion, Gambit, Repurpose, Hard to Ignore, Energy Barrier. Ooh, Master of Magnetism. Okay, so I don't have to use Unflappable to pay for Death Focus. I think right now it might be good if we do the Unflappable. So because we have Magneto's armor down, we are getting +1, I think, to all of our stats. Yeah, so we get +1 to all of our stats. So 333. I think I'll use the Master of Magnetism to pay for Unflappable. So we're going to defend for 3, and he's going to attack for 3 plus a boost. So we may not be able to trigger Unflappable, but there is the potential that he flips over like an Advance or a Scheme, which are the same thing. An Advance or an Assault, which would be a 0 boost card. And so we could just defend for the whole thing and end up drawing a card, which would be really, really good. All right, so what I will do then is I'll go ahead and thwart 3 here off Ancient Ritual. That will drop this down to 2 threat. That helps sort of mitigate the threat there. And then I'm going to hold on to Def Focus. I'm going to ready Magneto and draw up to 5. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we might want to get that force field generator down. But we also want to get Def Focus down. So we'll see what happens here. So threat goes up by 1. He gets a power counter. Then Apocalypse is going to attack for 3 plus a boost. I'll defend for 3. Okay, so we do get a 2 boost icon card here, so I don't block it all. And I'm just going to throw my health dial here. And there we go. So 8 health. That's not fun, I guess. And we get the 2 encounter cards. One is under fire, so now we get more, which surges, and we reveal the top card of the encounter deck. So then we get Celestial Tech. There is no Celestial Tech attached to him, so we look through the deck for a Celestial Tech. So we'll do the Celestial Armor. Then we shuffle up the deck. Okay, there we go. Celestial Tech and Under Fire get discarded. Then Technological Interface says if Apocalypse is in Cyberpath form, he's not. So we switch him to Cyberpath form and put a counter on the main scheme. So we put a counter here, and his response when he slips to this form is to place 2 threat on each scheme. So that means this is already at 4, as is Ancient Ritual. And the final encounter card is Biomorphic Blast, which means he flips back to Biomorph form. Does he get a tough status or another power counter? And he deals 2 indirect damage, so I gotta take both of those to the face. Okay, so that does mean he's only scheming for 1, which is kind of good there, but I could put the force field generator out, hang on to Def Focus still, or I could do Helicarrier and Def Focus, and I don't know. First things first is I'm going to do Magnetic Pull. So we get +1 to thwart, +1 to defense, and +1 to attack. We don't really get any benefits from that because we don't get to ready, but we do get to defend for an extra 1. So what I could do, could hold on to 1 card in my hand, or I could pay for everything, or pay for what I want. Magnetic Bubble would be good. Yeah. So I think I'm gonna end up holding on to 2 cards here. I'm gonna use these 3 to pay for. Yeah, we'll pay for the Magnetic Bubble. I'm not ready to do any of the repurpose stuff. We got that. Then I guess I'll just use Helicarrier to pay for Death Focus. That'll be good later on. And Helicarrier is not going to help me out too much right now. I'm going to go ahead and stay up here because I don't have to defend. I can just take the hit with the Magnetic Bubble. So we're going to go ahead and draw up to 5. Okay. We got 2 of our 3 repurposes, and I think the third one's in here. Yeah, so that's not ideal. Okay. Ooh, I could trigger Unflappable. That would be good. Alright, threat goes up by 1. And then he gets the 4th power counter, so we remove these and discard until we get a superpower, which is Staggering Strength. So he's going to flip up into Giant form. And if there was any damage to heal from him, he would heal too. So he's got Staggering Strength and Celestial Armor. So when he attacks, he's going to attack for 5 plus a boost. I can Yeah, I think I will do that. Um, so we've settled this. Now it's time for him to attack. So he's going to attack for 5 plus a boost. I'm going to declare myself as defending. I'm going to use a repurpose to pay for a desperate defense. So I get +2 to my defense, so I'm defending for 5. Anything that would go over is going to go on the magnetic bubble, so I will get to ready and draw a card. So 5, 6. I do get stunned, though, from the staggering strength, and this falls off. So I defended for 5. 1 damage goes onto the bubble, and he gets retaliated against. Because I took no damage to myself, I get to ready from the desperate defense, and I get to draw a card from Unflappable, which is a metal shards. All right. Then we get an encounter card. Caught off guard. Discard an upgrade or support you control. Ooh. I think we'll go with Unflappable right now. Man, I hate getting caught off guard. All right. My turn. I don't have a way to ready, but I could attack. I do have. Well, no, because repurpose isn't going to be able to do anything. So I could attack to clear my stunned, or I could just thwart. I think what I'm going to do is I am going to attack to clear my stunned here. Then X Gene and Def Focus will pay for Electromagnetic Blast, which removes 3 threat from a scheme. And if this removes the last threat from that scheme, I may discard an action with the text hero action or hero response. There's nothing here on that, so I don't get to discard that. And there is the potential I could do one more thing. So I'm going to go ahead and magnetic pull. So I get a wrapped in metal here. And I think I'm going to bring in an ally. So I'm going to spend repurpose, metal shards, and wrapped in metal to play White Queen. Now she does have a response to discard a status card from a character. There are... I made a mistake. Stunned was on me, and I could have used her to discard the stun, but I didn't. So I'll have to remember that for next time. I made a mistake there. Okay, that kind of stinks. Oh well. She's gonna go ahead and fort 2 off the main, which gives me the opportunity to go ahead and flip down. And when I do that, the top 3 cards in my deck, or my discard pile, get shuffled back into my deck. If I so choose, and I do so choose. I keep forgetting the camera's right here, so I'm trying to look at myself here. Um, there we go. That's a little bit better. All right, so there is my deck. And she will take a consequential. We'll ready and draw 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is a pretty good hand. All right, so the threat goes up by 1. Apocalypse will scheme for 2 plus a boost, and he does get a power counter. So it's 2, 3, 4. Puts it up to 5 of 8. Then the Celestial Armor triggers. So I discard the top card of my deck. It is a mental, which means I'm confused. But I do get to discard the Celestial Armor. Great. Then we get an encounter card. Please don't be in advance. And it is. Lovely. So he's going to scheme for 2, 5. So that does pop this scheme. So when this comes in, the first player discards cards from the top of the encounter deck until a superpower card is revealed and reveals it. So he switches to Cyberpath form. And when he switches to Cyberpath, we place 2 threat on each scheme in play. So this flips up. Still has 1 counter on it. Gets 1 there. And then 2 from the interaction there. So this goes from 4 to 6. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do for my turn, strength is going to be 2 resources to pay for asteroid M. Then I'm going to exhaust asteroid M to heal me 1 and put the topmost magnetic card and shuffle it back into my deck. Really need my cape here, guys. Okay. I'm going to exhaust to heal for 3, taking me back up to 10. And then magnetic missile is going to pay for endurance, which gives me 3 more health, putting me up at 13. And finally, repurpose is going to pay for armored vest, giving me an extra defense. I'm going to flip up here. And I'm going to go ahead and magnetic pool. So I get an electromagnetic blast to my hand, which has a energy resource, allowing me to defend for an extra 1. So this turn I will be defending for 1, 2, 3, 4 if I defend. I am going to go ahead and use Death Focus and X Gene to use this to thwart, which removes my confused. White Queen will thwart 2 here, bringing this down to 1. And then I'm going to ready and draw up. 4, 5. We got 2 energy barriers in our hand there. If I defend, I can't ready still, so we may not defend. We'll just take all of the damage, and there's really no reason to defend right now. I don't have Unflappable out. Okay. So that goes up by 1. He gets a power counter. He's got 2 power counters. Then he's going to attack me for 1 plus a boost. I will take it. So 1, and then we reveal this after the activation, because it says after the activation. So then he flips up. He does flip up. He deals 1 damage here. He takes 1 from my retaliate, but then when he flips up here, he heals 2, so he's back at 20. So the next time he activates, he's going to attack for 5 plus a boost. Then we get an encounter card for a Clan Akaba Zealot with guard. And before anyone says anything, White Queen does have 2 consequential on her. All right, so wrapped in metal is actually helpful here because I can just wrap him in metal and he'll sit there. I wouldn't have to worry about the defeated. I don't have to worry about his guard because this just blanks the text box. So what do I want to do here? I can't use either of these for wrapped in metal. So I can either do these 2. Let's do magnetic pool. So I get metal shards. I could just defeat him and get a tough status, but that wouldn't be fun. 1, 2, and then if I get forge, I can pull another card to my hand. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and use energy barrier and digging deep to go ahead and wrap this guy in metal. And then these 2 cards are gonna be 2 resources to play for forge. And forge is going to come in and find me an X-Men support, which I should have. That's not X-Men. None of them are there. I can grab either Utopia or the X-Jet. Go ahead and grab the X-Jet to our hand. Then we shuffle. And I still haven't done the magnetic pool or anything. So I'll go ahead and do that. Get a desperate Desperate Defense there. And then Utopia. So we got Utopia and X-Jet. I don't want to use either of those. So we can completely ignore this guy. I can thwart. I can thwart for 2, attack for 3, or and defend for 3. So what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and have White Queen thwart 2 here. I'll thwart 2 here. White Queen does get defeated. And Forge is going to go ahead and thwart 1 there. He takes a consequential. Okay. Then I will ready and draw up to my hand size. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Threat goes up by 1. He gets a power counter, so he goes up to 3 there. Then Apocalypse is going to attack for 5 plus a boost. Forge is going to defend. 5, 6, 7, 8. Forge absorbs all of it somehow. And I get stunned. Because I'm just like, whoa, he absorbed it all. And then we get an encounter card after discarding this, of course. And it is Celestial Tech. So we get to search the encounter deck or discard pile for a Celestial attachment. I like putting the Celestial armor on him because I don't flip down to Alter Ego that much. So this doesn't always affect the game. Okay. That is that. I don't have my cape. So what I might want to do, I'm going to go ahead and Magnetic Pool. There's the cape. I get to defend for 1 extra if I defend. Then Master of Magnetism will pay for Magneto's cape. That will give me a ready every turn. Then Hard to Ignore will pay for build support. Comes in with 3 threat. I don't think I have enough to thwart everything off. And I don't have a way. So what I think I'll do, I'm going to go ahead and attack to clear my stunned. If I wasn't getting status so much, things would be okay. Especially if I'd had the Magneto's cape out sooner. I think here's where I'm just going to stay up. And I'll go ahead and discard X-Jet. And I say that because I can get it out with build support. So draw 1, 2. Shuffle, I get an extra encounter card. Because I decked out. Then we go 3, 4, 5. See what we got here. I can definitely play Utopia. Yeah, this will be okay. The threat goes up by 1. He gets another power counter. That gets discarded. And we discard until we get a superpower. Biomorphic Blast. So he switches to Biomorph form. And when he does, we take 2 indirect damage. So that takes this up to 4. Then he attacks for 3 plus a boost. What do I have in hand? Do I have anything? No. So 3, 4, 5. We put 5 damage here on the magnetic bubble. We check to see if there's 6 damage. There's 9. So we discard all of that. Get the magnetic bubble gone. That resolves his attack. So then we get to check our encounter cards, which is a Scarab who comes in with a quick strike of 3. I'll take that. When he attacks, place 1 threat on Ancient Ritual. And then we get an advance here. So he schemes for 1. And either place 3 threat on Ancient Ritual, or I think we'll do the 3 threat there. So that puts that at 7. He schemes for 1. When he schemes, I discard the top card of my deck. I get confused, and we discard the Celestial Armor. Okay. That's fine. Master of Magnetism is going to be 2 resources. Pay for Utopia. Then what do we do? I'll thwart to clear my confused. Then I'm going to magnetic pool. So we get mental, energy, and then we get a double. So that's good. Because I get ready for Magneto's cape. I can thwart for 3. Removing that. I'm going to search my deck for a support. And we'll bring in the X-Jet. I get to put that into play. It's going to be a support of cost 3 or less. So now I get an extra resource to help pay for things. Build support leaves play. That was good. Now I'll do these 3 as 3 resources to pay for Magneto's helmet. Now I am getting set up. I'm getting pretty close. I'm getting pretty close that I can actually start doing stuff. X-Jet is going to play hard to ignore, which I guess we'll put this guy over here. There we go. I can at least trigger hard to ignore off of Scarab, if nothing else. But this should be we should be doing all right. All right, so we're ready. Drop to our hand size. 4 and 5. So now I can defeat Scarab. Get ready. Yeah, things are gonna go well, hopefully. Threat goes up by 1. We're at 4 threat here. Apocalypse is gonna attack for 3 plus a boost. I'm gonna take this hit. So 3, and just take 3 damage. That takes me down to 7. Scarab will attack. I'm going to defend for 2, 3, 4, 5. No, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Defending for 4 against his 3, I take no damage, which allows me to trigger hard to ignore, so I get to remove a threat from the main scheme. But after he attacks, place 1 threat on Ancient Ritual, which brings that up to 8. And we get an encounter card, which is Giant-Sized Despot. So he flips up to Giant form, and we put a power counter on the main scheme, which I believe I forgot to do for after adding threat. So we'll go ahead. There's 2 power counters there. He would heal 2, but there's no damage on him. Forgot I had Desperate Defense. That would have been good to remember. All right. So how can we do this? I'm going to first Magnetic Pool. So we get an Electromagnetic Blast to our hand. We get to ready from that. The Repurpose was an extra defense. And so was the Electromagnetic Blast. So I don't have any extra thwart. Let's see what we want to do here. So 3 for Force Field Generator. I can... Okay. So first thing is we're going to do X-Gene, Death Focus, and Magneto's Helmet to pay for Metal Shards. Deal 7 damage to an enemy. If this attack defeats that enemy, gain a tough status card. So 7 damage goes to Scarab, which defeats him. He takes 7 damage. Defeating him, I get a tough status card. I will go ahead now and thwart for 2. We'll do it off Ancient Ritual. Then a strength and a desperate defense is going to pay for force field generator. There we go. That comes in with 6 tokens. Then X-Jet and Electromagnetic Blast will be 2 resources to pay for Triage. Triage comes in, she heals 2 damage from me, triggers Utopia, and readies me. So now, Triage is going to thwart 1 off of Ancient Ritual, bringing it from 6 down to 5. She'll take a consequential. Magneto will thwart 2 off of Ancient of the Rise of the Apocalypse, bringing that down to 1. Okay, now I ready and draw. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We may have a pretty cool turn here. Okay, so then threat goes up by 1. He gets a power counter. He'll attack for 3 plus a boost. X-Jet will pay for Desperate Defense. So Desperate Defense gives me +2 defense for this attack. So I am defending for 2, 3, 4. I think 5, 6. So I'm defending for 6. He's attacking for 3. And then he would get changed to giant form. Doesn't happen. I take absolutely no damage from that. So I get to ready from Desperate Defense, and Hard to Ignore will remove a threat. All right. Then we get an encounter card. Tyrant Worship. I just place 5 threat on Ancient Ritual, which gives me another encounter card. So I place 5 threat. Make sure we do everything here. Place 5 threat there. After threat is placed here, if there is at least 10 threat, remove 5 from the scheme and deal each player a face down encounter card. We're still in the encounter card revealing phase, so we reveal this one, which is Source of Power, which comes in with 5 threat. Okay. So I do need to manage threat here pretty hard, I guess. I have magnetic missile, so I could chuck that minion at him. He does get a acceleration token after we shuffle this up. So there we go. All right. I'm going to thwart 2 off of Source of Power, bringing it down to 3. Then I'll repurpose. So I'm going to get rid of Force Field Generator. Repurpose is a 0-cost card that allows me to discard a tech upgrade I control, which is Force Field Generator. Ready my hero, and choose Thwart, Attack, or Defense until the end of the round. My hero gets +X to the chosen power. I'm going to go ahead and choose Attack. So I have a attack of 5 right now. So I will go ahead and swing at Apocalypse for 5, taking him from 20 down to 15. Then I will magnetic pool, and I get a magnetic missile. Okay. That gives me, yeah, an extra attack. I don't get anything else extra. So I get an extra attack. And I'll go ahead and swing at him again for 6. So that takes him from 15 down to 9. Triage will thwart 1 off of source of power, bringing it down to 2. She's going to leave play. Then energy is going to pay for energy barrier. Oh. I'm going to hang on to a magnetic missile. I'll discard the other one. And that is going to be my turn. So then already, energy barrier comes in with 3 reflection counters. I'll drop to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Apocalypse gets a token. It's 4 tokens, so he discards until he gets a superpower. Giant sized despot, so he's going to activate against me for 3 plus a boost. I'm going to take this one. Do I have desperate defense? No. Take it. So 3. That's it. That knocks off my tough. So I can defend for 4 here. And then I get that. So then he'll actually attack me for 3 plus a boost. There was a that, so he was attacking for 4. So I'm going to defend for 3, 4. He attacks for 5. I reflect 1. He actually attacks for 6. I forget because of this. So I reflect 1. I take 1, which means that I don't get the trigger hard to ignore. Um, he will take 1. I took 1. Not bad. Then we get an encounter card, which is another Clan Akaba Zealot. He has guard. Okay. That's fine. So Magneto's helmet. And because it's magnetic. And X-Jet will pay for wrapped in metal. So he's now wrapped in metal. X-Gene is going to pay for magnetic missile, which says discard. Wait, hold on. Not yet. I'm going to use Magneto's magnetic pool. So digging deep, when it gets discarded from the top of your deck, gets put into your hand. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we get an electromagnetic blast. And we'll say this was a physical, so I get an extra attack if I want it. I get to ready for Magneto's cape. What I'm going to do is thwart for 3 here. Remove all the threat here off of source of power. Did I forget to put threat here? I think I did. I think this is supposed to be at 3. And then I think we got giant sized despot there. So yeah. So he removed all the threat here. That means he switches to biomorph form. And he gets a tough status, which this is going to be an interesting thing here. He switches to biomorph. When he does, he's going to deal 2 indirect damage to each player. So I take 1 damage on me, and I'll reflect the other one back at him so that removes his tough. All right. He's at 8. Then I'm going to use Digging Deep as 1 resource to pay for Magnetic Missile. Discard a minion with Wrapped in Metal attached. So we're going to discard this Clan Akaba Zealot. He's not... His text box is blanked. He gets discarded. And I deal 5 damage to Apocalypse, so he goes from 8 down to 3, and he gets stunned. So as long as he doesn't flip up to giant form, he's going to remain stunned. Then ooh, resources are not resourcing for me. Oh well. We're going to use these 3 as a resource each. And we're going to play White Queen. White Queen will ready me. I believe I can thwart for 3 here. She'll thwart for 2 here. She gets a consequential and a used token. All right. Then we'll ready and draw up to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll get an extra encounter card. Shuffle up my deck. One of the bad things about Magneto is he really does go through his deck quickly, especially if you don't flip down much. And sometimes this can be a little scary to flip down. That's why I haven't been doing that. So right now we have 4 cards. We'll take the 5th. All right. Threat goes up by 2. 1, 2. He gets a power counter. He would attack, but he's stunned. Then we get encounter cards. Here's the first one. Technological interface. So he switches to Cyberpath form. When he does that, he places 2 threat on each scheme. Ancient Ritual goes up to 5. Rise of Apocalypse goes up to 4. Then he's going to attack the hero and each minion engaged, but he can't activate. So he's going to attack. I can defend for 4. He's going to attack for 1 plus a boost. Fine, I'll defend for 4. So 2, 3, 4. He's attacking for 1. And he would change to Cyberpath form, but he doesn't. So I take no damage. I get to trigger Hard to Ignore, removes the threat. Wow. Cool. Now is the fun time. Magneto's helmet, Death Focus, and X Gene will pay for metal shards. Deal 7 damage to an enemy, and if this attack defeats that enemy, gain a tough status card. So I'll deal 7 damage to Apocalypse, taking him from 3 down to 0. I get a tough status card because that defeats him. However, he does come into his new form. So he's going to come in Cyberpath. There he is. He does have Retaliate 1, so I guess I lose my tough here. Sort of a waste of a card. But I will use Repurpose. I'm going to discard my energy barrier. I'm going to put it on attack. I'm going to ready, and I can attack for 4. So I'm going to swing at Apocalypse for 4, taking him from 24 to 20. I take the damage. I'm going to go ahead and Magnetic Pool. I get an Electromagnetic Blast, and I will be able to defend for 4 next turn. Okay. What do I have? Okay. I get to ready from that. X-Jet and Digging Deep will be 2 resources to pay for energy barrier. Comes in with 3 tokens. White Queen is going to thwart 2 off the main, bringing it down to 1. She takes a consequential. I'm going to swing again for 4 at Apocalypse, taking him from 20 down to 16. He'll retaliate. I'll reflect that back at him. He'll go down to 15. Then I'm going to use Master of Magnetism to pay for Electromagnetic Blast, and we'll remove 3 threat from Ancient Ritual. All right. He's the big schemer right now, so we're not going to flip down. We'll stay up. He's not attacking for as much, so that's okay. We'll drop to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this is where I'm over-resourced. Threat goes up by 2 to 3. He gets a power counter. He's going to attack me for 2 plus a boost. If I defend, I'll get to defend for 4. I'll defend for 4. He's attacking. I take no damage. Get a trigger hard to ignore. That brings that down to 2. I think this was the actual boost card. It was actually 3, so he's attacking for 5. I defended for 4. I don't get to trigger this. No, because I would have done that. I would have reflected it. So I defended for 4. He attacked for 5. I defended that. I get to reflect 1 back at him. There we go. Then I get an assault. I don't get to defend here. So yeah, hard to ignore would have triggered. I don't get to defend, but I'll use White Queen. She'll do 2, 3. So she takes 3 damage. There we go. That makes more sense. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and use Digging Deep to pay for another hard to ignore. Then I'm going to Magnetic Pool. I get a Master of Magnetism. I am way over-resourced here. I have 6 resources for a Thwart card. But I do get to ready. And I'm going to swing at Apocalypse for 2. Taking him down to 12. He'll retaliate. I'll reflect that back to him. He's at 11. I'll use an energy for an electromagnetic blast, removing the last of the threat here, which would be good, except for the fact that he has nothing that I need to take off. And that poor minion is just chilling there. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Threat once more goes up by 2. Apocalypse is going to attack for 2 plus a boost. I will defend for 2, 3, 4. He deals 4. I take 0. I trigger both hard to ignores, removing all the threat from the main. We get an encounter card. He schemes for 3, 4, 5. He's trying to turn the tables on me. Okay. We're going to Magnetic Pool. Always discarding Xavier with this. I get a Magnetic Missile. I get to ready. Don't see... Okay, there's a physical. So I get to attack for 3. Taking him from 11 down to 8. I had the ready there. Then I'm going to use Master of Magnetism to pay for Triage. She'll heal me for 2. Trigger Utopia to ready me. I attack for 3 again, taking him down to 5. I do take 2 damage, 1 for each attack, because of the retaliate. This is not even fair for him. So I'm going to use a Genius and a Death Focus to pay for Magnetic Bubble. And Magneto's Helmet will pay for Magnetic Missile. Discard a minion that is wrapped in metal. And then deal 5 damage to an enemy and stun it. That's game. I feel like having Magneto in protection was really, really good. If I had been able to get some of these cards out a little bit faster, like the Hard to Ignores, Magneto's Cape specifically, I would have been able to ready so much. I was constantly readying with Repurpose, Utopia, Magneto's Cape. It's almost like playing Quicksilver, but stronger because I have better stats that I can also buff really, really well. So having Magneto in protection, I almost feel like this is his strongest one, but we'll have to see how he does in leadership. Now, I have played him in leadership on this channel before. Feel free to check them out. They're my first 5 videos. Um, they were all sort of one deck. I'm going to try and build a different sort of leadership deck for him and see what we can do. I don't really want to ally Swarm, but it's also really good for any X-Men. Um, Apocalypse and Expert is a fun challenge. If you guys are looking for something kind of fun that's not horribly difficult, an Expert Apocalypse in Sabah Nur is a lot of fun. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If I did something wrong or I should have done something just a little bit different, feel free to let me know in the comments below. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.